Have you been working hard, taking action consistently on your goals for months or maybe even years, only to notice that you're still in the same place? The answer really comes back to understanding what have you been programmed with. Because the fact is, it is impossible for a human being to behave in a way that is inconsistent with their programming. You've read the books, you've read the articles, and you go on the internet and you've listened to a lot of videos. And you've all heard that saying that if you are trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, well, then that is just foolish. Why is it that when we take action, we're clear on what we want and we're consistent in it? Why is it that some people don't achieve those goals and still end up in the same place? And the programming that I'm referring to is the scarcity programming trap. It's a trap. Because if you think about it, the programming in our unconscious mind got there in a way that was really unknown to us. And it got there as soon as we were born into this world, and as soon as we had individuals in our lives, as soon as that we can perceive our environment around us in any way. And so in our early life, that programming might have came from your parents or your guardians. And then as we get a little bit older, then it became our societies, and then it became our teachers, then it became our peers in our classrooms, then it became some religious authorities, then it became political authorities, then it became education systems and institutions and bigger healthcare systems and so on. And so all of this programming goes into our subconscious mind and it's unknown to us, but it affects the way that we behave. It affects the what we think. It affects the way we perceive ourselves in relationship with other people. And it affects, therefore, the way that we take action. And all of these things add up. Our unconscious mind affects us in more than just one area of life. It affects us in all areas of our life. It affects you in your career, your finances, your relationships, both personal and professional. It affects you in your health and your fitness. It affects you in your spirituality as well. Your unconscious program affects you in all areas of your life, and you don't even know what it was, and you don't even know how it got there. So if you do want to achieve meaningful goals, if you do want something different than what you have been having, wouldn't it stand to reason to really understanding what the programming is and where it came from? Because you already understand that you need to learn new things, learn new skills, learn new understandings of the way the world works, and learn to understand other people. We all understand that we need to learn something. But what we don't see is that a most important component of learning something new is unlearning the things that prevent us from learning something new. And that unlearning progress, that process is exactly unprogramming. The goal of maturity, going into adult life and being involved in leadership and executive functions in your business, the whole goal of that is unlearning our previous programming so that we can make mind in our mental capacities and our intellect to learn the things that we need to learn and to develop that into wisdom and understanding. So this is an unprogramming of our unconscious mind, but we will never behave in a way that's inconsistent with it. So here's what that means. If you've ever noticed somebody who is very skillful at what they do, maybe you have a higher up at work who's very skilled at answering questions, or maybe they're very skilled at answering Q&A and navigating relationships with stakeholders, they make it look easy, and they make it look natural, and they make it look like they were born with it. But you know, nobody's born with it. It is an unlearning and a learning process, and then a relearning process after that. But you got them at the tail end of their journey, so they make it look easy. But also the reverse to it. Have you ever witnessed somebody where they were trying really hard and they just were never able to get the success? In other words, they had a series of failures. Well, didn't they make those failures look easy too? So here's what that means. Success and failure is natural. People who try to succeed aren't trying to succeed as much as people who fail are trying to fail. Both of them happen naturally from the unconscious mind. And the reason why is that our unconscious mind causes us to see things and feel things and perceive things that is congruent with what we've been programmed with. And that's exactly why sometimes when you hear something new, our first reaction to it is to resist it, to push back on it, or to avoid it, or to turn away from it, is because it's uncomfortable. Unlearning is very uncomfortable. And as a result of that, the process of unlearning must be a commitment to unlearning, and you must have an open mind to say, okay, I can see how inside of me there have been blocks to be able to keep an open mind to the things I need to learn to develop myself and to grow myself. You see, all of us as individuals growing up, we didn't choose the programming of our unconscious mind. It happened because of the environment around us. It happened with all those systems around us. So as a result of that, that programming, the scarcity programming trap, it keeps us stuck, it keeps us misinformed, and it keeps us fearful. And individuals who are stuck, who are misinformed, who are fearful are easier to control. And when I say easier control, I don't mean that, someone is out to get you and your bosses are out to get you. That's not what I mean. What I mean by individuals who are stuck, misinformed, and who are fearful are easier to control, I just mean that they are disempowered. Think about it. A moment where you were misinformed and therefore you were confused. Moments where you were fearful. It could be fearful for speaking up, fearful to speak your mind. It could be fearful about anything. Or think about moments where you really felt stuck in your career or stuck in the relationship or stuck in some sort of circumstances. In those moments, there's a disempowerment. It feels like I can't do anything. Maybe I shouldn't do something. There's a hesitation, there's a holding back. So that's what I meant by that. It is a disempowerment. They're easy to control, which means that in any area of life that you are disempowered, somebody else becomes over-empowered and they get to set the rules. Think about that relationship dynamic. Go to a moment where in your life where you really were disempowered. It could be you were in a meeting and there were higher-ups around you and they were speaking and you really wanted to share your thoughts, but in that moment you didn't feel empowered to share your thoughts. And so as a result of that, someone else will share their thoughts. They could have been the same as yours or maybe not. But then as a result of that, the one that steps up and shares their thoughts, they become more visible and they get to set the rules. And that might mean setting the rules around where you stand and what your place is in that suggestion moving forward. And so this is relationship dynamics. Understanding why do you do what you do? Why do you have those reactions is really going to be important to having the resilience to commit to unlearning the program, unlearning that scarcity programming that you've had that was unknown to you. So that is the very first step. The second step is being plugged into an environment where you are receiving information that is mind developing, where you are receiving information that is new, that helps you to develop your mind so that you can really see things as they are instead of how your programming allows you to see it. And that is the second step, to be plugged into an environment like that. It could be a mentorship, it could be a coaching, it could be around individuals who aren't afraid to speak the truth into your life, who aren't afraid to hold you accountable, who aren't afraid to challenge your way of seeing things, but also at the same time that you have the internal fortitude and leadership to allow that space to happen. So that's why when you do hear something new and you notice yourself resisting it, or you notice yourself retreating back to the way things were because they were familiar, because they were comfortable, because they were less fearful, that is the opportunity. That is an evidence of an opportunity where this is where you can really grow. This is where you can have a commitment to unlearning the unconscious program that was keeping you stuck and misinformed and fearful. And the third step is to really be intentional about what goes into your mind. So that means being a gatekeeper of what you bring into your mind and what you allow into your mind. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What words are you allowing to become yours? Whose stories are you allowing to become yours? And are they the words and the stories that are really serving you and serving the people you want to serve? So be a gatekeeper of what you let into your own mind based on your senses. What you listen to, what you watch, and what you speak as well. And so when you practice both the unlearning and surrounding yourself in an environment where you can take new information that challenges your current perspectives, and at the same time you're being intentional about what you let into your own mind, this is the process to getting yourself unstuck, to getting yourself empowered, and to getting yourself fearless. If you're listening to this and you're feeling resistance, I get it. I was trying to tell this to you as gently as possible. But oftentimes the truth, when it's spoken into our life, it is very revealing, and it is natural to feel vulnerable. It is natural to feel discomfort. But when you lean into that discomfort, on the opposite side of it could be your ability and the ability to reach your potential. So if you are committed and you're saying to yourself, I am committed to surrounding myself in such an environment, and I am committed to being a gatekeeper of my mind and letting new information come in that can develop me and grow me in ways that my old programming cannot, then I invite you to work with me. Below this video, the very first link is an application where you can speak to a member of my coaching team. And this is where we're going to explore with you and create an action plan for you on how you can get into that journey of development. And when you're inside, on the inside, I'm going to be working with you every single week to provide you with that training and a new operating system to allow you to see the reality the way it is and to give you the resilience to handle situations come what may in both your personal and your professional life. So only if you're serious, not curious, then please click the link below, and I look forward to working with you on the inside. If you're still feeling stuck at the same level, maybe you've been a senior manager for a long time, a director for a long time, and you want to get to that next level, then in the next video, I share some 5 steps on how to get yourself unstuck and organize your life. That video is coming right up next. I'll see you there.